Good morning, all. Mark Bardo with the Queermosphere, your weekly insight into anything queer. Hoping everyone is wrapping up a great weekend and prepared for a productive next week. Do me a favor, if you like what you see, let me know in the comments, like or subscribe. But let's dive on in and let's see what last week has brought us. So a man donates a kidney to save his husband in an epic life-saving love story. Advisors are quitting left and right, leaving Sinema in one bad week. And a reduction in queer people's anxiety and depression was found with positive LGBTQ depictions in the media. Well, don't go too far and come straight back. Well, come as your queer self, but just grab some coffee and come back and join me. You know, there are a few people in my life that I consider kidney worthy, and this story is about two husbands, and one of them needed a kidney and the other happened to be a match. Reed Alexander and Rafael Diaz met last year on Tinder, and they were a match. However, they had no idea that their kidneys matched as well. When Alexander was 17 years old, he was diagnosed with Alport syndrome, a disease that causes damage to the kidney's blood vessels. When Alexander was 24, he then found out his kidneys were only running at about 20% and that he was eligible for a kidney transplant. So because of that, he moved to Denver and started his job as a fitness instructor and swiped right to meet Diaz. And about a year later, they were married, and everyone knew Alexander's condition was getting worse, but his husband was interested in finding out if he was a match. And as Alexander's condition continued to deteriorate, Diaz knew he had to do something. Well, there you have it. Tinder is good at matching up people based on their physicality, but it also looks like it does pretty well in kidney matches. And on August 13th, the couple went into surgery. Both procedures went well, and both have been recovering at Alexander's mother's home. Alexander told People magazine that after the surgery, he cried every time he saw his husband's face, stating, "I don't think there's anything I can do that shows my appreciation." He said, "It means so much to me that he made the ultimate sacrifice and gave me an organ that I can live better and healthy." And that's so amazing. And I'm sure, as we all know, healthcare in the United States is very, very expensive. So if you do have a few extra coins you could throw at a good cause, go ahead and Google "two men and a kidney" and their GoFundMe page and donate what you can. Kyrsten Sinema is not having the best week, with all of her advisors quitting this week, saying her recent actions have made it impossible to continue, and now her fellow queer legislators are also turning against her. Supposed bisexual Senator Kyrsten Sinema is sitting scratching her head, wondering why all of her advisors are leaving. Well, it could be very, very clear, because she's not following what she stated she would during her campaign. The LGBTQ community is furious at her attempts at attention-seeking and her moves that have delayed the historic non-discrimination protections for the queer community. Now, while she says she supports voters' rights, women's health care, and economic investments, her concerns are that the uber wealthy and corporations pay their fair share of taxes, which is most important to her, apparently. You know, she's earned the reputation as someone who doesn't even talk to her constituents. She doesn't do town halls or hold press conferences. And she goes to such lengths at avoiding talking to her constituents that she'll lock herself in a bathroom after activists follow her in and try to get her to say something. 5 military veterans who advise her on policy issues sent her a letter earlier this week saying they were quitting, as she has ignored the recommendations and reneged on her campaign promises. If this woman believes that Democrats will forget her antics, she's sorely mistaken. Not only that, if she thinks Republicans will suddenly embrace a former Green Party activist who is an out bisexual, well, you're in for a rude surprise. The only outcome is that you'll lose support on both sides. It's really hard to understand a politician if nobody knows what you're thinking, because you don't tell anyone anything. And it's really sad to think that someone you worked hard for and worked hard to get elected is not even willing to sit down with you, let alone do absolutely anything for the community that she says she's supposedly a part of. You are a disgrace to the LGBTQ community, and you should resign. Well, it should be no surprise that media plays a positive role in our life, and that it can be used to give queer people help and resilience in the face of discrimination. Recent psychological research suggests that positive media representation showing people being supportive of gay individuals can help reduce LGBT people's anxiety and depression around coming out and living as a queer person. Participants took a survey by watching videos depicting either a positive or negative interaction between people based on one character's knowledge of another's homosexuality. After watching one of the videos, they were then asked to answer questions to determine their anxiety and depression levels, as well as other reactions to what they saw. The results showed, unsurprisingly, that positive media depictions of people showing support to gay individuals lessened their anxiety and depression levels. However, the lead researcher said that further studies are needed in order to develop a more nuanced understanding of how the media affects LGBTQ emotion. The study's findings echo previous findings on the positive effects of LGBTQ-friendly media representation. A 2011 study revealed that positive media role models serve as sources of pride, inspiration, and comfort to LGBT individuals. Psychologist Jennifer O'Brien also wrote, when people see representations of themselves in the media, this can foster a great sense of affirmation of their identity, and feeling affirmed with one's own self can boost positive feelings of self-worth, which is quite different than feeling you are wrong or bad for being who you are. Well, this all just goes back to what I love to say, representation matters. And when you see yourself on screen and in the media, it solidifies that you are in fact part of this integral community and are welcome in that community due to that great portrayal in the media. So keep putting those queers on screen. Well, with that, everyone, this takes my Sunday to a close. I hope everyone has a great rest of their Sunday and a great start to their next week. Thank you so much for joining me. Be sure to check out LGBTQnation.com. If you see an article that you think I should mention in one of my videos, please let me know in a comment or DM me. Also, if you have yet to comment, like, or subscribe on any of my videos, please do, so you can get them in your weekly video feeds. And as always, slap that smile on your face and start out by being nice. But if they ain't taking what you putting down, burn the bitch good. Thanks, everyone. Have a great Sunday.